And as I say, there'll be more people coming, but just invite them back. It's the Truth and Reconciliation. Can everybody hear? Testing. Yeah.
There you go.
Hi, come on in. It's Truth and Reconciliation Week this week, and so it's an appropriate time to give the land acknowledgement. But I just was listening on my way down to a woman where 4 generations of her family were in the residential school system, and just speaking about the impact on her family, was really, was really moving. But to me, I did a fair amount of research last year, and it's really difficult to comprehend that, this went on for over 100 years, the residential school system. And in reading the reports of Dr. Peter Bryce back in the 1920s, where he was trying to put a stop to it, but people wouldn't listen, particularly the government, the federal government. So it sort of reminds us, that homelessness has been ongoing for a long time, and in the last 10 years it's gotten worse, and we have to ask the question: is it going to go on for another 100 years, or are we going to try and do more? And it's not an easy issue to address. We know that, but just with the coming winter, that's really one of our concerns. Are people just going to be expected to sleep outside? In Toronto, we have a lot of factors that are sort of coming to a head, including the number. There was a backlog of refugees and asylum seekers, and after COVID, that really built up, and the government processed a lot of applications. So that's one reason. But the numbers are really minimal when you compare it with 900,000 international students, and a lot of the other issues that are leading to homelessness, particularly high rents, the lack of units, the real shortage of units that have been built over the last 20 years. I remember Mike Harris canceled 17,000 units when he came into power. He said, the private sector is going to handle this, and he turned it over to a big consulting firm, paid them millions of dollars, and nothing happened, as we know. So I just want to read the land acknowledgement here. We would like to acknowledge the sacred land on which we meet. It has been a site of human activity for over 15,000 years. The territory was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and the Confederacy of the Ojibwe and allied nations to peacefully share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work in community on this territory. And then I would just like to offer 2 short reflections for our gathering. The first is a quote from the book of Revelation. I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. So we know that's where we're going to end up, with every nation, tribe, people, and language coming together. And then the second prayer is from Psalm 14 to 16. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Loving kindness and truth go before you. How blessed are the people who know the joyful sound, O Lord. They walk in the light of your presence. They rejoice in your name, all day long. They celebrate your righteousness. For you are their glory and strength. And that's why we're here today, is because we know the Spirit is working with us. It's not just our own efforts. Now, I'd like to thank members of the Ethiopian community that, really helped, worked with Aunt Sophie to get this gathering off the ground. And Meseret and Mizmak and Helen really worked hard with Aunt Sophie. And where are you, Aunt Sophie? Oh, there you are. We can give a little hand to Aunt Sophie. She really brought it all together today, and she was rushing around getting sound speakers and cheese trays, and her son and daughter are really helping tonight. So we really appreciate that, Sophie. And also, I'd like to thank Alexa. Where are you, Alexa?
Behind you, David.
Okay. Alexa Gilmore has coordinated the outreach to our community contacts and churches and other faith groups, and has worked hard to help organize this event. And then next, I just want to really welcome those from the Black churches who made a special effort to come here tonight, this evening, because you traveled a long ways. Ricardo, and I met Ricardo about a month and a half ago. And the Black Church has really been an example for our whole religious community. We do have others here that have been in this battle for so many years, from Matthew House and FCJ House and so forth, but the Black Church has really stepped up on this tragedy that was before our eyes down on Peter Street. So we hear a lot about affordable housing and the need for affordable housing, but our focus tonight, this evening, is to recognize the urgency of the current housing crisis and how it's spilling out onto mental health challenges. Speaking with Libin about this problem, how it's impacting so many families and individuals. And there's really no excuse in a wealthy city such as Toronto. We have many empty buildings in our city today. We see empty retail stores all over. We see empty office space. So we really need to ask, why these are empty when there's people, in need of a warm space. I think you're just going to sleep again in the parks this coming winter. And if the city can't provide enough transitional housing and safe shelters, then we need to explore other ideas, and we would welcome input. We've heard options like field hospitals and tiny homes. So we really need to put on our thinking caps and work together. But our efforts here are not just about creating housing. We really have an opportunity for people from different backgrounds and different religions and different churches to work together. And that's often hard to accomplish in our big city. And Sarah's a good example. Sarah Hildebrand had an event up on this very space, about a year ago, called Love Your Neighbor. Love thy neighbor. And so we need to know how to carry that forward, and we'll be tapping into your wisdom, Sarah, but also the wisdom of all the people here. And the words of Pope Francis sort of touched me, a few words here. It is important that there always be a community ready to welcome, protect, promote, and integrate everyone without distinction and without excluding anyone. So with those few words, I want to introduce Ms. Mack. And Ms. Mack is a university graduate in political science and international relations. She has extensive experience in refugee resettlement work, and she has extensive work with the UN in 6 different countries. And so we